Question 3. How can I maintain a consistent height between all the different columns in my Bootstrap rows? Bootstrap implements something called the grid, which makes it very easy to create a grid of content and organize all of that content in a very nice grid-like environment. But sometimes it doesn't look as great as we would like it to. Let's take a look at this code and we'll see what the problem is exactly. So you can see here that we have an HTML file. We've got 3 columns within our row. The first column just has some text content. The second column has text content, but also an image of a nice house. And the third content has just some more text content. So you can imagine that this might be an invoice that has a picture of the food item that you ordered, as well as the price and the serial number. So sometimes you're going to have different types of content in the different columns of your Bootstrap row. Unfortunately, let's take a look at what this looks like in practice. So you can see that we have our left text content, we have our right text content, we have the middle, but the middle is just sticking out. It doesn't look so good. How can we make it so that all of these columns have the same height so that it looks more cohesive and easy to read? Well, let's go back to the code. Now you can see here that I've commented out my style sheet, but I'll go ahead and uncomment that. And essentially all we need to do is add a few CSS rules to our Bootstrap in order to make the columns have consistent height. So all we need is an overflow hidden tag that helps the row essentially not have any overlap. And we also want to use something called a negative margin. Negative margins are a bit more of an advanced concept when it comes to web design, but essentially think of this as something that sucks down the bottom of your Bootstrap element until it reaches the bottom that it can totally go, which in this case will be the consistent bottom level of our column. So now that we've added this CSS to our HTML file, let's save it and see what it looks like by reloading the page. So you can see that by using this negative margin technique, we've been able to essentially extend down the bottom length of our Bootstrap columns so that they have a consistent height. I encourage you to play around with this technique. It has a lot of interesting applications, but sometimes it can make the browser go a little bit wonky, so be careful when you use large numbers and especially negative ones in your margins and padding.